Are you ready to overcome limiting money beliefs so that you can get to the next financial level in your life? Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing some tools that took me from an extremely stressed out, overworked single female entrepreneur to now being fully supported, having six-figure businesses that mostly run on autopilot and allow me to be in this space where I'm really using my talents. And I had to change my beliefs in order to do it. And I'm going to be sharing how I did that today. Hi, my name is Amanda Abella. Welcome to Mindful Success Path. On this channel, we talk about how to get the results that you're looking for in your business and your life without all the extra stress, chaos, and drama. So if that is something that you are interested in, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out. And if you are interested in taking what we're going to be talking about in this video to another level, we have a money mindset reset course, and you can find the link for that below. We run promotions on it all the time, so make sure to click the link below to get more information on that, what's in the course, what's in the curriculum, and if we have any current promotions on it. So let's get into how to overcome limiting beliefs about money. So here's the thing. We live in a society where most people do not know how to relate to money. And I say this as a former financial writer and financial educator. I spent 8 years writing financial content, probably for your bank, probably for your credit card company, whatever financial services you're using in the United States, I probably wrote content for them for 8 years. So I was in data and statistics all the time. And after about 6 years, I started to realize, whoa, it doesn't matter how many times I write about budgets and paying off debt and all this stuff, because it doesn't seem to be helping that much. I mean, it might help some people, but it's not helping most people. There's a lot that goes into that, including how the government is not running things very well, but that's a conversation for another time, and that's not exactly in your sphere of immediate control. What is in your sphere of immediate control is your beliefs about money. So I will give an example of how this used to come up. Let's talk about debt as an example. And this is one I've struggled with personally. So I've seen the contrast and I've seen the difference in energy and also in results. So the way most people are taught to look at debt is that your life is over. The way that most people are taught to look at debt is that you messed up, so there's a lot of guilt and there's a lot of shame. The way most people are taught to deal with debt is to basically sacrifice everything else in their lives and eat rice and beans until that debt is paid off. And then maybe someday when that debt is paid off, maybe you can have a life again. That is how most people are taught how to do this. The problem with that is most people are not going to stick to that because it's miserable, and why would they? Meanwhile, if we change our beliefs about debt and we change our beliefs about how we need to pay off the debt, now we can start coming up with some more creative solutions to problems. I've had this happen in real life. So I will give an example. A few years ago, I got into a lot of debt because I ran into some issues in business and also in my personal life, and everything collapsed all at once. But the thing is, I did not stop investing in my own personal growth. I did not stop investing and learning what it was that I needed to learn. So I got into some debt over that. Because I had been taught most of my life that being in debt was bad, you're chained forever, you can't have a life. And again, this is just typical personal finance stuff and how people in personal finance typically talk about debt. Then I went through like a shame spiral that was pretty nasty, and then the debt would just get worse. And then I would end up punishing myself by overworking, which of course didn't actually lead to more money because I was just punishing myself for being in debt. And this is what most people do. It's one of the reasons why they can't get out of debt, is because they keep punishing themselves mentally for being in debt, and they keep focusing on the debt. So what happens? They just get more debt. Whereas when I've had seasons and instances in my life where I'm like, let it go, then what ends up happening? I start feeling better. I start putting myself first. I start making more money. I get more creative ideas because I'm not focusing on the debt. I'm not even worried about the debt anymore. Now, this last time, I've done that before where I've paid off like 20K in 8 weeks a few years ago. And what I had to do was realize like, oh, I can make whatever kind of money I want. I live in an abundant universe. I run my own business and everything's going to be fine. And that was like during COVID when that was going on. This last time was a little bit more difficult because I guess, I had gone beyond the limit of what I thought was reasonable in terms of having debt. And we all have limits when it comes to these things. And I have gripes with the word reasonable, but that's a conversation for another time. But I had gone beyond the limit of what I thought was reasonable in terms of carrying debt. So I started going into shame spirals and fear spirals. And like I said, it got pretty nasty and the debt would get worse. So once I was able to start separating myself from the debt and basically talking to myself and be like, is all debt bad? No. Did you get into debt over buying dumb stuff? No. And even if you did get into debt over buying dumb stuff, just because you did that in your past doesn't mean it's going to be in your future. So you still shouldn't necessarily make yourself feel bad for that because it's not helpful. It's not productive. It's not going to help you get into problem solving or creative solutions. So I'm like, no, it was all, business stuff or personal development or stuff that I really needed at the time in order to get me through a very difficult spot in life. So that was number one. Number two, I was like, well, I could always negotiate this, right? And that was thanks to Justin. He's like, you can always negotiate, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot because again, I was seeing it as punishment, not as something that is malleable, that can move because money's just energy. You could negotiate. So I'll give an example where, I had a debt on a contract and I just wasn't really in that business anymore, but I still had the debt on the contract. All I had to do was send an email and renegotiate the contract. And poof, most of the debt disappeared. But because we're so accustomed to making ourselves feel bad or we think debt is bad, then we don't get results quickly. And that's why most people stay stuck. So debt is just something I'm very passionate about. It's something that I've struggled with. It's something I saw a lot of people struggle with, and we really have to change our minds about it. So one of the things that we can do when it comes to money, which is life-changing, is that we have to see it as neither good nor bad. And whatever results that we're getting with money is neither good nor bad. It's just data. So for example, I was looking at, the cash collected from our businesses last week, because we like to report our numbers every week in our Effortless Revenue Mastermind. We have everybody report the numbers on Tuesdays, including us. So I was looking through, I'm like, all right, cool. We made X dollars and I was like, it's looking good. And then I stopped myself and I was like, okay, it's looking good, but I'm not going to get attached to the fact that this is good because it's just data, right? And the data is saying that whatever we're doing, which by the way is both strategic and energetic, whatever we're doing is working. But I'm not going to judge it as good or bad because I could see it as good and somebody else would see that as horrendous. And it's just not very helpful at all. So rather than giving money good or bad connotations or whatever financial situation I'm in is good or bad connotations, it just is what it is. And it's data and money is energy and it can change. So that's number one, stop making it good or bad. And that takes practice, right? It takes practice to be neutral. It's one of the reasons I'm huge on meditation because it allows you to be an observer of thoughts and an observer of circumstances instead of constantly reacting to things and constantly judging things. So that's number one. Number two, we have to change our own personal limiting beliefs about money. Now, you heard me mention the Money Mindset Reset course, which is in the comments. This is a big part of what we go through is we go through your own history in terms of what are my beliefs about money? What did I pick up from the culture? What did I pick up from my family? What did I pick up from my own experience? And really getting clear on what kind of beliefs are behind all of that you might still be carrying into this day. And then once we identify them, then we can change them. But it goes many, many layers deep, guys. It goes culture, religion, something that happened to you when you were 8 years old and you've been carrying that ever since and you've been reliving the same belief and the same fear over and over and over again. It goes deep. So make sure to get that course so we can help you get very clear on what that looks like for you, and you have your own personal prescription, and it'll also start teaching you how to release the past and release those past beliefs so that you can move into a more abundant future. The next part is that we have to start relating to money in a different way. So one of the analogies I've been using for like 10 years now, back when I was in my Make Money Your Honey days, is exactly that. Make money your honey. Treat money as if it's a relationship, a romantic relationship, because what happens when you pay attention to money and you're nice to money and you respect money and you're like, ooh, with money, you get more of it. Money likes attention. If you're not giving money attention, it is going to go somewhere else. It is going to go somewhere else. It is going to have a wandering eye. So what you want to do is you want to rebuild your relationship with money. And an analogy that works well for a lot of people is that you are in a relationship with it, which is just an energy. It's just an entity. And you are in relationship with that energy and that entity. And then finally, we talked about identifying the limiting beliefs. Let's talk about actually changing the limiting beliefs and how quickly this can lead to results. So once you've established what some of your core beliefs are, and again, make sure to check out our money mindset course to help you figure out what that looks like for you and your specific beliefs. I'll give some examples here, but everybody's different. Then what you do is you have to actually change them. We go through a longer process in the course that involves a lot of releasing work, but I'll give you a very short version right now in this video, which is basically based on cognitive behavioral theory, which is what you do is you identify the limiting belief, you switch the belief, and then you find evidence for the new belief. So I will give examples. Literally did this with our clients in our Effortless Revenue Mastermind a few weeks ago, and within 48 hours, they were making more sales. So one of the beliefs that we were working on with one of our clients is they had a core belief of I am not capable. I'm not capable of making more money. I'm not capable of working. I'm not capable of producing the results for these people. Basically, I'm not capable in business or in my career or in money. So we switched it to I am capable. And then I asked her, I'm like, what's all the evidence that you are actually capable? And she started listing it off. And she's like, well, I mean, I've made money up until now. I've gotten clients up until now. I've gotten results for people up until now. And she started giving specific examples. Great. And then suddenly the I'm not capable didn't have as much emotional charge because she realized it wasn't true. 48 hours later, she was closing more sales. We had another client who had grown up with the story that you shouldn't want more than you need. Very common. You shouldn't want more than you need because that makes you greedy. And so we switched that, right? And instead of saying more money makes me a greedy person, that was her core belief because that's what she picked up as a child, because that's what was said over and over and over again in her house. You shouldn't want more than you need. We changed it to more money allows me to be a more generous person. And then we started finding evidence on how they're a generous person now, right? They make money now. They're already successful and they're a generous person, but they were stopping themselves from making more money because they were afraid it would make them greedy. And we had to help them make the connection that more money would make them a more generous person. Also, 48 hours later, was making more money and closing more sales. And I did this to myself a couple weeks ago where I'm doing a workshop later this month on YouTube marketing for our business audience on how we grew the Entrepreneur Expat YouTube channel so quickly in 90 days and how it led to almost 6 figures in sales in 90 days. And I said, well, my belief was I've never been able to sell workshops off of email or social media posts. I've always had to do like high ticket sales and have a whole sales conversation and a whole thing, but I was open to a new reality. And it actually came to me in a meditation, hey, you should probably do this YouTube workshop. And I told Justin we should probably do a YouTube workshop. And I saw it very clearly. So we'd spent that afternoon, working on a sales page and doing all this stuff. And I was feeling very anxious. And I was feeling very anxious because I had a core belief that I couldn't make money that way. I had a core belief that in order for me to make money, it had to be like, I don't know, a $10,000 contract and it involved a sales call, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? I'm just open to making money in different ways that don't require sales calls. And I like sales, right? I'm just curious, like, hey, if money's energy, can I play with this? Can I make it work? So I noticed I was anxious, found the core belief, reworked the core belief to I can make money in whatever way I want. I can make money without sales calls. I can sell this damn thing out just from emails. And lo and behold, we started getting sales all weekend. We were out at a party and we were getting sales for that workshop. So it can change very quickly. It can change really fast because I'd never gotten results like that before. And the main thing that I did was just change my belief. I took physical action as well in creating the sales page and all that, but all I really did was change my belief. and I started getting different results. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how to overcome limiting money beliefs. If you would like more content like this, please let me know in the comments, because money is a topic I can talk about for days, forever, because I've had so many lessons in that department. So let me know if you want more money stuff in the comments. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out on this channel, and hit that notification bell so you're notified on your app when we have new videos. And all the resources I mentioned before, our free manifestation guide, our money mindset course, effortless revenue mastermind, whatever you heard where you're like, that piqued my interest, it's all in the description where you can find more information. Thank you so much for giving me your time today, and I will catch you guys on the next one.